The galactic capital was glowing with lights. Every species from nearby star systems had come to witness a rare moment, the peace ceremony between humans and the Solarii Empire. After years of mistrust and near wars, both sides had agreed to join hands to celebrate the new alliance. The council announced a warrior event. It was not a battle for war, but a show of strength, culture, and honor. From Earth, humans sent their best fighters. Among them was a quiet man named Jack. He was not tall or flashy like the others. He wore plain armor, his face marked by old scars. He spoke very little and often stood at the edge of the group. Most didn't notice him. He was just the quiet one. The Solarii warriors, on the other hand, arrived in shining silver suits and golden robes. They moved with grace and pride. They believe in fighting as an art. With their glowing staffs and smooth movements, the crowd cheered loudly for them. Princess Illyra, daughter of the Solarii Empress, sat at the highest balcony. Her deep violet eyes watched every fighter carefully. She was young, calm, and carried herself with quiet power. While others saw the contest as entertainment, she was watching for something else. The contest began with the test of strength. Human warriors lifted heavy metal blocks, while Solarii used gravity-bending tools to balance impossible shapes. Jack stayed silent until it was his turn. When he stepped forward, no one cheered. No one expected anything. He picked up the metal block without a word, held it steady, and placed it down faster and cleaner than anyone else. Some in the crowd blinked. A few even clapped. Next came the speed test. Solarii glided through the course, dodging floating orbs and laser walls. Human warriors followed with strong and sharp movements. Jack again waited for his turn. When he ran, he didn't rush. He studied every part of the course. Then he moved slow at first, then suddenly fast, almost dancing through every obstacle with calm precision. By the time the final test, a sparring match, began, people started whispering about the human with the silent eyes. Jack faced a Solarii champion known for winning 100 duels. Their fight was not loud. Jack didn't show off. He blocked, dodged, and used small, simple moves. In the end, both fell to the ground at the same time. The match was called a draw. The crowd clapped. Both empires showed honor. The event was ending peacefully. Then, silence fell. Princess Illyra stood up. She walked down from her balcony, her long robe trailing behind her. Her guards followed, confused. She stopped in the middle of the arena, looked around at every warrior, and then pointed her hand toward Jack. "He's the one I choose," she said softly. No one moved. Even the wind seemed to stop. Humans looked at each other. The other warriors stepped back. Even Jack looked unsure. He pointed at himself, as if asking, "Me?" Illyra nodded once. The Empress stood slowly, her face calm but sharp. "My daughter," she said. "You must explain." Illyra turned to her mother. "Our people believe in soul resonance," she said. "It is rare. It happens once in a lifetime. When I watched him, I felt it. His spirit moved something in me. It was not power. It was not skill. It was balance." The Empress frowned. Many of the Solarii nobles whispered behind their fans. Choosing a human in public? This had never happened before. Jack stepped forward. He looked at Illyra, then at the Empress. "I don't understand," he said. "I didn't come here to be chosen." Illyra gave a small smile. "I know, and that's why it's true." Jack looked away, unsure what to do. He had fought for honor, for peace, not to be pulled into royal matters. But now, the whole galaxy was staring at him. He could feel the weight of their eyes. "What happens now?" Jack asked. "You come with me," Illyra said gently, "to understand why." The Empress stared at them both. Then, slowly, she nodded. "Very well. But understand this, your path will not be easy. Choosing him means facing the trials. The old ways still live." Illyra bowed her head. "I accept them." Jack stood in silence. And then, with a slow breath, he nodded too. That moment was marked in history. The day a Solarii princess pointed at a human warrior in front of the stars and said, "He's the one I choose." The palace halls of the Zolari Empire were quiet as Jack followed Princess Alira. Tall crystal pillars lined the corridors, glowing softly. Alien guards watched him with unsure eyes. Servants moved quickly out of the way. Jack felt out of place in his plain armor, walking beside a girl who had just changed his future with a few simple words. "Are you always this quiet?" Alira asked as they walked. "I speak when needed." Jack replied. She smiled. "Good. Too many speak just to be heard." They entered a private chamber, filled with light and soft music from hidden crystals. She offered him a seat, and he sat down slowly, still unsure of what was happening. "You want answers," she said, sitting across from him. Jack nodded. "Why me? We've never met. I was just part of the contest. You were more than that." She said. "You were calm, centered. Every movement you made was with purpose. When others showed off, you stayed steady. I've trained my whole life to feel soul resonance. When I saw you, it hit me like a wave." Jack didn't know how to respond. He had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but soul resonance, that sounded more like a dream. "Maybe you felt something," he said slowly, "but it doesn't mean I'm special." Alira tilted her head. "You don't believe in fate. I believe in choices." Jack said, "And right now, I don't know what choice I have. You pick me in front of everyone." "You still have a choice," she said. "You can walk away. But if you stay, there are trials you must face." Jack frowned. "What kind of trials?" "Ancient ones," Alira said. "To prove you are worthy of standing beside royal blood, strength, wisdom, unity. That's what the old laws demand. If you fail, our bond is broken. If you pass, then what? Then you belong to our people. Not as a servant, as something more." Jack looked down at his hands. They were hands that had held weapons, lifted friends, and buried memories. He didn't want to belong to anyone. But something in Alira's eyes told him this was more than some ceremony. This was something deep, something calling to him. "I'll do the trials," he said. Alira smiled, soft and warm. "Then rest. Tomorrow, the first trial begins." The next morning, the palace was buzzing with tension. Jack stood in an open training ground. Nobles and council members watched from shaded seats. The Empress sat at the center, expression unreadable. "The first trial," the master announced, "is the trial of strength. Not brute power, but the strength to carry, to endure, and to rise again." Jack stepped into the ring. His task: carry a Zolari stone core, a glowing, heavy object, through a narrow path filled with shifting ground, fire traps, and wind tunnels. Most Zolari trained for years to attempt it. "You may begin," the voice said. Jack didn't wait. He picked up the stone. It was heavier than anything he had ever lifted. His arms burned within seconds. Still, he walked out. The ground moved under his feet. Wind slammed against his face. Fire walls forced him to stop. Wait, then move again. He stumbled. He fell. Once, the stone rolled from his grip, but he picked it up each time. Slow and steady, he kept walking. On the edge, Alira watched. She whispered to herself, "Come on." Human. Jack's shirt was soaked. His breath was short, but he didn't stop. Step by step, he moved forward. At last, he reached the final marker and dropped the stone gently. The silence that followed was long. Then, applause. Not wild cheers, but the kind of clapping that came from respect. The Empress gave a small nod. Later, Jack sat on the stone bench, wiping sweat from his face. Alira brought him water. "You didn't give up," she said. "Wasn't planning to," he said with a weak grin. "That's the strength the trials look for," she said. "Not power, but the will to keep going." He looked at her. "Is that why you chose me?" "It's one of the reasons," she said. "But I think there's still more to discover." Jack didn't know what to say. This girl, with her calm voice and strange words, was nothing like the people he knew. Yet, something about her didn't feel like a stranger. As the sun set beyond the glass towers, Jack sat quietly, thinking about what lay ahead. He had passed the first trial, 2 more to go. And deep inside, something told him this was just the beginning. The day after the trial of strength, Jack woke up early. The soft light from the twin suns of the Zalari home world filled his room. He was nervous. Today was the trial of wisdom. He met Princess Alira in the palace garden. Colorful flowers and strange plants grew all around. The air smelled fresh, with a hint of sweet nectar. Alira smiled gently at him. The trial of wisdom tests your mind and your heart, she said. It is not about books or knowledge alone. It is about making the right choice when the path is hard. Jack listened carefully. He wanted to prove himself. But he knew this would be different from the first trial. This time, brute strength would not help. They walked to a large chamber filled with glowing stones floating in the air. An elder Zalari, named Siren, greeted them. His eyes were soft but full of power. Jack, the elder said, you will face 3 challenges. Each will ask you to choose. Some choices may hurt others. Some may risk yourself. Your wisdom is in what you choose and why. Jack nodded. The first challenge began. Before him appeared a village model. Tiny Zalari people lived there, showing their daily lives. Suddenly, smoke rose from one house. The elder's voice echoed. You can save 5 villagers trapped in that house or save 10 villagers in another village far away. But the time only allows 1 rescue. Jack looked carefully. The 5 trapped were close. But the 10 farther away could be saved only if you moved fast. He thought about the value of life, about duty, and about hope. Finally, he said, I will save the 5 near, then try to warn the 10. The model changed, smoke cleared, and the 5 villagers were saved. But the 10 were still at risk. The elders smiled. Sometimes wisdom is choosing what you can control first. Jack felt relief. But he knew this was only the start. The second challenge was harder. Jack stood before 2 doors. Behind one was a lost treasure of the Zalari Empire, an ancient weapon of great power. Behind the other was a book containing secrets of peace, which could help unite many worlds. The elder asked, which do you choose? Jack closed his eyes. Power was tempting, but peace was more valuable. I choose the book, he said. The elder nodded. A wise choice. Power without peace brings only war. Jack's heart beat faster. He was learning more than he thought. The last challenge appeared as a puzzle of light and sound. Jack had to arrange glowing stones in a pattern that told a story of trust and hope between 2 species. He studied the stones, feeling their warmth and their colors. Slowly, he moved them, connecting colors and sounds in a pattern that felt right. When he finished, the room filled with a soft melody. Alira smiled, tears in her eyes. You have passed the trial of wisdom, she said. Jack looked at her, surprised. Really? Yes, she said. You showed heart and mind. Many who are stronger have failed this trial. As they left the chamber, whispers spread among the watchers. The human was more than a fighter. He was becoming a symbol of hope. But not everyone was happy. In the shadowed halls of the palace, some Zalari nobles gathered. They were old and proud, against the peace with humans. This human, one said, is an outsider. The princess's choice threatens our traditions. Another nodded. If he passes the final trial, it will change everything. They planned quietly. They would watch, and if needed, act. Meanwhile, Jack and Alira spent more time together. She taught him about Zalari history, their customs, and their fears. Jack shared stories of Earth, of human struggles and dreams. They found in each other a strange but growing friendship. One evening, Alira looked at Jack and said, you are different from others. Not just a warrior, but something more. Jack smiled softly. Maybe I am learning what it means to be chosen. The next day, the palace announced the final trial. The trial of unity. Jack knew this would test everything he had learned. Strength alone would not save him. Wisdom alone would not win. It was time to show if he could unite not just 2 worlds, but 2 hearts. The final trial was announced with great ceremony. The trial of unity was the most difficult of all. It was not about fighting or knowledge, but about working together to overcome a great challenge. Jack stood beside Princess Alira in the great hall. Round them were groups of Zalari warriors, scholars, and leaders. Many watched with hope, some watched with doubt. The Empress stepped forward. Her voice echoed, "This trial will test if the Chosen One can bring unity between our peoples. Jack must lead a team, both human and Solari, to complete a mission. The success of this mission will prove his worth." Jack's heart beat fast. Leading others was new to him. He was a soldier, used to following orders, not giving them. "What is the mission?" he asked. "There is an ancient ruin beyond the mountains," Alira explained. "Inside lies the Crystal of Harmony. It holds the power to strengthen peace between our worlds, but the path is dangerous, traps, puzzles, and wild creatures guard it. Your team must reach the crystal and return safely." Jack nodded. "I understand." Alira smiled. "You will have my support." The team was chosen quickly. 5 Solari warriors, 3 human soldiers, and a scholar from each species. Jack noticed the tension. Some humans looked unsure about working with aliens. Some Solari whispered doubts about the human leader. The journey began at dawn. They crossed forests of glowing trees, rivers that sang, and rocky mountains. Jack moved carefully, listening to his team. At first, the groups stayed apart. Humans talked in small groups. Solari stayed silent or whispered in their language. Jack called a meeting by the campfire. "We are stronger together," he said. "We need to trust each other." The Solari warrior Rian spoke. "Humans fight with strength, but we fight with mind and spirit. Maybe we can learn from each other." A human soldier, Maria, nodded. "And maybe we can protect each other." Slowly, the team started to work as one. They shared food, stories, and laughter. Alira watched quietly, happy to see the change. One night, while they rested, strange sounds came from the forest. Glowing eyes appeared. Wild creatures, tall and fast, surrounded the camp. Jack stood slowly. "Hold your ground. Don't attack unless I say." The creatures circled, curious but not yet hostile. Alira stepped forward, speaking softly in her language. The creatures paused. One stepped closer, sniffed the air, then bowed its head. "They recognize you," Alira said. "The forest protects those who respect it." Jack smiled, amazed. "Looks like we earned their trust." The team moved deeper into the ruin. Inside, the walls were covered in ancient symbols. Puzzles blocked their way. Jack and Alira worked together to solve them, using knowledge from both humans and Xalari. At the heart of the ruin, the Crystal of Harmony shone bright. Its light filled the room, warm and peaceful. Jack reached out and touched it. A feeling of calm and strength filled him. The crystal's power was real. But as they prepared to leave, the old nobles who opposed peace appeared. They had followed the team, hoping to stop the trial. "Jack," one noble sneered, "you are not worthy. This empire belongs to the Solari alone." Jack stepped forward, voice steady. "The empire belongs to all who live here. I am here because Alira chose me. Together, we will protect peace." The nobles attacked. The team fought side by side. Humans and Solari moved as one, their trust turning into strength. In the end, the nobles were defeated. They were not killed, but taken to face justice for their actions. Jack turned to Alira. "We did it." "Yes," she said, "because we stood together." They returned to the palace with the crystal. The Empress greeted them, proud and calm. "You have passed the trial of unity," she said. "Jack, you have proven yourself worthy of standing with my daughter." Jack looked around. The crowd was different now, no longer cold or doubtful, but hopeful. Alira took Jack's hand. "You are the one I chose, not just because of strength or wisdom, but because you showed the power of unity." Jack smiled, finally understanding he was not just a warrior. He was a bridge between two worlds, and this was only the beginning of their story. Weeks passed since the rebels joined the alliance. The city was alive with new hope. Humans and Solari worked side by side, sharing ideas and stories. Jack found himself at the center of it all, learning not just about leadership but about friendship and trust. One evening, as Jack walked through the market square, he noticed a small crowd gathered near a stall. Curious, he approached. An old Solari woman was speaking to the crowd. Her voice was soft but full of wisdom. "Long ago," she said, "humans and Solari were friends. We fought together against darkness from beyond the stars. But time and fear separated us. Now, the bond returns. Jack listened carefully. The story was new to him, but it gave him hope. Alira joined him, her eyes shining. Our ancestors knew peace was possible, she said. We just need to remember. Suddenly, the ground shook. Alarms blared through the city. Soldiers ran to their posts. Jack and Alira looked up. A fleet of unknown ships appeared in the sky, dark, silent, and threatening. The Empress's voice came over the comm. Prepare for defense. These ships are not from any known alliance. Jack's heart raced. The peace they had fought for was under threat. We must unite, he said. Humans and Zolari together. The city's defenses activated. Human and Zolari ships rose to meet the threat. Jack was given command of a strike team. As the enemy ships closed in, Jack coordinated the fighters. His calm voice guided the pilots through the chaos. The battle was fierce. Energy beams cut through the sky. Explosions lit the night. Jack's team targeted the enemy's lead ship. They dodged heavy fire, moving as one. Inside the lead ship, the enemy commander watched. His face was hidden, but his orders were clear. Destroy the Alliance. Jack single quotes as fighter fired a precise shot. The enemy ship shuddered, then exploded in a ball of light. The other enemy ships retreated, disappearing into the dark. The city cheered. The Alliance had held strong. After the battle, Jack met with Alira and the Empress. This attack shows the galaxy fears our unity, the Empress said, but it also shows our strength. Alira smiled, and the power of the one I chose. Jack looked at her, feeling the weight of the words. We have a long road ahead, he said. But together, we can face anything. Alira took his hand, because you are not alone. The stars above shone brighter that night, as the worlds stood united against the darkness. And Jack knew. He was exactly where he was meant to be. The palace was filled with soft light as Jack walked beside Princess Alira. Their victory in the final trial had changed many minds. The Crystal of Harmony rested safely in the royal vault, a symbol of the new bond between humans and Zolari. But peace was still fragile. Some nobles whispered in hidden rooms, unhappy with the change. They feared losing power and tradition. Jack felt their eyes on him, full of suspicion and anger. One evening, as Jack and Alira sat in the palace garden, a messenger arrived. His face was tense. Your Highness, Jack, he said, there are rumors of a rebel group gathering outside the city. They oppose the peace treaty. Alira frowned. How many? Several hundred, the messenger replied. Armed and angry, Jack stood. We cannot let them break what we have built. Alira nodded. We must face them with strength and wisdom. The next day, Jack was given command of a small force. Humans and Zolari warriors together. Their mission was to meet the rebels and try to stop the fight before it began. As they traveled, Jack studied the faces of his soldiers. Many were nervous. Some doubted his leadership because he was human. We fight together, Jack told them, not as humans or Zolari, but as one. The soldiers looked at each other, then nodded. When they reached the rebel camp, Jack asked for a meeting with their leader. The rebel leader was a tall Zolari man named Calder. His eyes burned with anger. You brought a human to rule over us, he spat. We will not accept this. Jack stepped forward calmly. I am not here to rule. I am here to listen. Calder sneered. What can a human know of Zolari pain, our history, our losses? More than you think, Jack said. I have lost friends in wars. I know what it means to fight for peace. Calder paused. Then why did your people invade our space before? Why did they bring weapons? Jack looked down. Not all humans agree with war. I am sorry for the pain caused, but now we want peace. Alira joined them. Our worlds can be stronger together, but only if we understand each other. Slowly, the rebels lowered their weapons. Calder looked at Jack, then at Alira. Prove it, Calder said. We will watch. Jack smiled. We will. Over the next days, Jack and Alira worked with the rebels. They shared food, stories, and hopes. They built trust with small acts, helping with repairs, listening to worries, and standing with them in storms. One night, Calder approached Jack. "You are not like the humans I thought," he said. "You listen, you learn." Jack nodded. "We must all learn if we want peace." When the rebels agreed to join the alliance, the news spread. Quickly, the city welcomed them with open arms. Jack and Alira stood before the crowd. The Empress smiled proudly. "Today," she said, "we show the galaxy what unity truly means." Through patience, courage, and open hearts, Jack looked at Alira. "This is more than I ever dreamed." She smiled softly. "You were never meant to dream alone." As the sun set over the city, humans and Zoleri stood side by side, ready to face the future together. The peace ceremony was held again in the grand hall of the galactic capital. This time, it was different. The humans and Zoleri were no longer strangers or distant allies. They were united. Jack stood beside Princess Alira. The Empress sat proudly, her eyes warm. Many species from across the galaxy had come to witness this new beginning. Alira stepped forward and spoke to the crowd. "Today, we honor the strength and courage that brought us together. Jack, the human warrior I chose, showed us that unity is our greatest power." Jack looked at the crowd, then at Alira. He thought back to the moment she pointed at him in the arena, a moment that changed everything. "I did not come here seeking honor," Jack said quietly. "I came here as a soldier, lost and unsure. But with your trust, I found a new path. Together, we can build a future where all species stand as one." The crowd cheered, voices rising in hope and joy. The Empress then took a small crystal from her necklace, the crystal of harmony, and placed it in Jack's hand. "This crystal is a symbol of our bond," she said. "May it remind us all that peace requires courage, trust, and love." Jack held the crystal tightly, feeling its warm light. He understood now. This was more than a symbol. It was a promise. After the ceremony, Jack and Alira walked through the gardens. The stars shone brightly above, reflecting the peace they had fought for. "Do you remember?" Alira asked softly. "When I first chose you?" Jack smiled. "Yes. I didn't believe it at first, and now I know," he said. "You saw something in me that even I could not see." Alira took his hand. "Because sometimes the one we choose changes us." Jack looked into her eyes. "And sometimes we change because of the one chosen." They stood together in silence, knowing the future was uncertain but filled with hope. The galaxy was watching, waiting to see if this union would last. But Jack and Alira were ready, because they believed in something stronger than war or fear. They believed in each other, and that was the true power of the one she chose.